Hello bears, and welcome to Bear Beat of the Drum, the venture box for the Baltimore Area Council Day Camp. My name is Mr. Tim Milady. I am a Scoutmaster, an Eagle Scout, and a member of the Order of the Arrow. And I'm here to teach you the requirements for Bear Beat of the Drum. I am not a Native American, but I have had the great pleasure for over 30 years in my teenage years working with the local Native American community when I was a scout myself. So we are volunteers. We are scouts, we are scout leaders, we are adult leaders. We are not professional actors. What we do here is for teaching, and we try to give the best information available. So for the Adventure Bear Beat of the Drum, there are 4 requirements. We're going to work on building our dream catcher, which is the craft project located in your adventure box. You should have a kit like this. There are different kits inside. We're only going to be showing you how to build the dream catcher. You only need to build one, but there's a lot of other fun kits you can do inside. We're also going to learn a little bit about the Native American history and culture of the Native Americans of Maryland, and we're going to tell you a story. The second requirement is to create a legend, building a diorama, or telling a story. I'm going to tell you a story based on Native American folklore, and then you can either build your own diorama or act it out to your parents and family. Third one is to either go to a Native American festival or to learn a ceremonial dance. I'm going to teach you a very, very simple dance that you can do at home with the help of some of my scouts. So this is what you'll find in your package. You'll find the instructions, you'll find you want the kit that has the ring and a large piece of leather. There's also a smaller packet with feathers and beads, but that is for the end. All you'll need out of this right now is the wax string. So we're going to start. The instructions you will find on the inside page. So we're going to start with the leather strap, and we're going to use that to wrap around the ring. So you want to leave a small tail as you start your wrap, and you might want to find like a paper clip or something to hold it in place. I have large hands, so I'm just going to see, you want to keep the wrap very close together. Okay, so this is what it should look like about halfway. We are continuing our wraps. But it should be a nice tight wrap so you don't see any metal underneath. Now once I finish the wraps, we'll show it to you again. So once we get the whole thing wrapped, we're then going to, we probably have a fairly long tail left, but we're going to tie that off with just a simple overhand knot, because we're going to use the strands as part of our decoration. So if you had the original one that you left, you're probably going to want to take some scissors, and we're going to cut it off at the same length. The excess tie we're going to use as decoration at the end, so don't throw that away. So the next part, after we have our leather wrapped hoop, is to take our wax string. And this is what is going to form the web of the dream catcher. So Start going to tie it off at the very top. Probably using a simple knot, like 2 1/2 inches, or anything that will hold it will work. You might need your parents' help with this. So once we have that very first knot, we're just going to make a series of 1/2 inch knots going around the edge of the loop, about 1 inch apart to start with. Starting to make a nice spider pattern there. Once around the complete circle, we're going to now take the next one to the middle of the wraps that you made. And again, it's the same stitch we just used. So nothing new. See what it's starting to do. So once I get this third row done, we'll come back again. But it's just a continued pattern to the very center. As you see, I've gotten to about the third wrap now. So I'm going around in kind of like a spiral, going to, again, halfway point on each strand. If you have problems with this wax thread, you may want your parents to put it onto, tape the ends of it for you. Make it a little easier. You see, you start getting really tight in the center, it makes a nicer pattern. But you can also get fancy. You can add beads to the middle of it. So you just string some beads on it while you're weaving. I'm keeping this one rather simple. Okay, So once you've gotten it all the way around, very easy just to end it by go ahead and tying off a knot. And you can have your parents help you with that. And then we're just going to cut it off. Okay, so we have our dream catcher, and we have two strands where we started. We're going to add a couple more now, so we have something to dangle from it. And we're just going to take a piece of our leather that's left over, about the same length. Okay, so the piece we started with, we're just going to tie a simple knot at the end. This is what you can use to hang it with. And I like a nice square knot. Add some decoration, we have the rest of our leather, and we can kind of use that to cover the knots at the bottom. So we're going to use what's called a lark's head knot. So we're going to make a loop. We're going to put the loop through so it comes out, and then we're just going to tuck the tails side. We'll do the same for the other side. Okay, and that kind of covers up some of our knots too. So with these dangling fringes inside your kit, you also have a bunch of small beads, and we can thread those onto the leather. Might need some little work to get those on there. Okay, so we've added some beads to our fronds here, and you also have a couple of feathers in here. So easiest way to do that is just to work them right up inside the feathers.
Up in the beads.
Or inside the beads. But there's other ways of dressing feathers if you want to get more fancy. So once we get our feathers and beads added, and you can do that any way you want, use your imagination, use your creativity. I'm probably going to end this a little differently later on, but feathers can really be dressed very fancy. I've got some I dressed here a while back. As you can see, a nice pattern around them, and that will hold there for quite a long time. And here's a dream catcher I did several years ago. A lot more effort put into this one. It's a lot bigger. As you see, much more tight pattern, but you can really have a lot of fun creatively and put the beads along it or decorate it any way you want. But anyway, there is your final product. So the next requirement of Bear Beat of the Drum is to learn about the Native Americans of our area, of their culture, of their history. So the Native Americans of Maryland are descended from the Algonquin people. There are many different tribes up and down the eastern shore. Some of the Assateague, Chincoteague, the Delaware, the Mattapique, the Mattawaman, the Nanticoke, Patuxent, Piscataway, the Pocomoke are all tribes of Maryland and Delaware. You'll notice how many places in the state of Maryland use these names to give honor to the Native Americans of our area. So what do you think about when you think of Native American Indians? Most people think of teepees, they think of long feather headdresses. The Native Americans of Maryland use more animal hide and very plain dress. They use muskrat, they use turkey feathers, they use shell. They use things that were found in our native area. The regalia I'm wearing right now is known as a ribbon shirt. As you see, it has many flashy ribbons. This was actually made by the current chief of the Nassau Wawash people. Many of the Native Americans of Maryland lived what was called a nomadic existence, meaning they traveled a lot. So in the summer, they would usually spend their time near the rivers where fish and seafood were plentiful, and there were cool weather, and the temperatures were lower. As cold weather would set in by the winter, they would move farther inland, where there was shelter. There was places they could keep warm. Instead of teepees, they'd use what are called a longhouse. And there are still many longhouses like this one on the eastern shore today. Let's see the inside of one of these. So here are some typical Native American crafts and objects. So the second requirement for their beat of the drum is to create a legend, building a diorama, writing a story. There are thousands of Native American tales out there. Most of those were all passed on through word of mouth. And so as culture sadly declined, some of those stories are of course lost to time. Fortunately, many of them have been passed on. Your Dreamcatcher project has a wonderful story associated with it, and I very much ask you to go ahead and look that up in your local library. I don't have a copy of it right now, but this is the best version I have read. In Native American folktales, there's always some tricksters. And the story I'm going to tell you is about a trickster known as Coyote. His friend, Ikami, is the spirit of the spider. This particular story, known as Coyote, Ikami, and the Rock, is from the White River Sioux. Native American stories were usually told to entertain, but also to teach. Many have different morals associated with them. So, hope you enjoy Coyote, Iktomi, and the Rock. Coyote was walking with his friend Iktomi. Along the path stood Aya, the rock. This was not just any rock, it was special. It had those spidery lines of green moss all over it, the kind that tell a story. Aya had power. Coyote said, "Why, this is a nice-looking rock. I think it has power." Coyote took off the thick blanket he was wearing and put it on the rock. "Here, Aya, take this as a present. Take this blanket, friend rock, to keep you from freezing. You must feel cold." "Wow, a giveaway," said Tommy. "You sure are in a giving mood today, friend." "Ah, it's nothing. I'm always giving things away. Aya looks real nice in my blanket." "Well, it's his blanket now," said Iktomi. The two friends went on, and pretty soon a cold rain started. The rain turned to hail. The hail turned to slush. And Coyote and Iktomi took refuge in a cave, which was cold and wet. Iktomi was all right, for he had his thick buffalo robe. Coyote had only his shirt, and he was shivering. He was freezing, and his teeth were chattering. "A friend of mine," Coyote said to Iktomi, "go back and get me my fine blanket. I need it. And that rock, it has no use for it. He's been getting along without a blanket for ages. Hurry, I'm freezing." And Iktomi came back to Aya saying, "Can I have that blanket back, please?" But the rock said, "No, I like it, and what given is given." Iktomi returned and told Coyote he won't give it back. "Well, that no good, ungrateful rock," said Coyote. "He Has he paid for that blanket? Has he worked for it? I'll go get it myself. Friend, said Iktomi, Aya the rock, there's a lot of power there. Maybe you should just let him keep it. Are you crazy? This is an expensive blanket of many colors and great thickness. I'll go talk to it. So Coyote went back and told Aya, Hey, Rock, what's the meaning of this? What do you need that blanket for? Let me have it back right now. No, said the Rock, what is given is given. Well, you're a bad rock. Don't you care that I'm freezing to death? That I'll catch cold? Coyote jerked the blanket away from Aya and put it on. So there, that's the end of it. Oh, by no means the end, said the Rock. And Coyote went back to the cave. The rain and hail had stopped and the sun came out again, so Coyote and Iktomi sat before the cave, sunning themselves, eating fry bread and berry soup. After eating, they took out their pipes and had a smoke. All of a sudden, Iktomi said, What's that noise? What noise? I don't hear anything. A crashing, a rumble far off. Oh, yes, friend, I hear it now. Friend Coyote, it's getting stronger and nearer, like thunder or an earthquake. Well, it is rather strong and loud. I wonder what it could be. I have a pretty good idea, friend, said Iktomi. Then they saw the great rock. It was Aya, rolling, thundering, and crashing upon them. Friend, let's run for it, said Iktomi. Aya means to kill us. And the two ran as fast as they could while the rock rolled after them, coming closer and closer. Friend, let's swim in the river. The rock is so heavy he sure can't swim, cried Iktomi. So they swam the river, but Aya, the great rock, swam over the river as if it had been made of wood. Friend, into the timber among the big trees, cried Coyote. That big rock surely can't get through this thick forest. They ran among the trees, but the huge Aya came rolling along after them, shivering and splintering in the big pines to pieces, left and right. The two came out onto the flats. Oh, Iktomi, the Spider-Man, said, Friend Coyote, this is really not my quarrel. I just remembered. I have pressing business to attend to. So long. And so Iktomi rolled himself into a tiny ball and became a spider, and he disappeared into a mouse hole. Coyote ran on, and the big rock thundered close at his heels. Then Aya, the big rock, rolled right over Coyote, flattening him out altogether. Aya took the blanket and rolled back to his own place, saying, So there. A rancher, riding along, saw Coyote lying there all flattened out and said, What a nice rug. And he picked Coyote up and he took the rug home. The rancher put Coyote right in front of his fireplace. And whenever Coyote is killed, he can make himself come to life again. But it took him the whole night to pull himself up into his usual shape. In the morning, the rancher's wife told her husband, I think I just saw your rug running away. So friends, hear this. Always be generous in heart, and if you have something to give it forever. So the last requirement of Bear Beat of the Drum is you can do one of the following. You can visit and order the arrow ceremony. You can visit a Native American event, and at the end of this video, I will post you a link that your parents can take you to a festival in September for the Nasu Wawash Band of Native Americans. You can also learn and demonstrate a ceremonial dance. And so that we can finish Bear Beat of the Drum, my scouts and I are going to show you what is known as a round dance. There are many different styles of Native American dance and ceremonies. There are special dances and songs called flag dance to commemorate, to honor our nation. There are additional dances and songs to honor veterans. There are different dances for men and women, both fancy and traditional. When you hear the term intertribal, that means everyone is welcome, whether they're Native American or not. So we're going to do an intertribal known as a round dance. It's very simple. You simply dance around a circle. And the dance steps are very easy, focusing on a toe, heel step. Toe, heel, 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 heel. So we're going to show you our round dance with music accompanying. And we're also going to show you one other fancy intertribal. Hopefully you'd like to come to a Native American festival because it's known as a candy dance. And it's a simple, again, round dance, but it's a lot like musical chairs. So as an intertribal dance, you're expected to dance around to the music, but when the music or the drums stop, you can go and grab all the candy you can from around the arena. And then, of course, when the music starts again, you have to start dancing again. And the music goes until all the candy is gone. So it's a lot of fun. I really hope you can come out and enjoy an intertribal candy dance in the future. A good one. So we put candy around in our dance arena, and my scouts are going to demonstrate a candy dance. In the future, when you bridge the Scouts BSA, you will eventually be eligible to be elected to join the Order of the Arrow, Scouting's Honor Society. Order of the Arrow, or OA, has been around for over 105 years. And we serve the council, we serve our units as a brotherhood of cheerful service. The Order of the Arrow brings together the traditions of the Native Americans. In the Baltimore Area Council, our lodge is known as Nentico, to honor the Nanticoke Native Americans. Our lodge was started in 1922, so 2022 will be our 100th anniversary. You can be a part of that. Scouts like yourselves have been giving service to the Native American communities for many decades. And I'm going to leave you with a drumming ceremony some of my scouts did several years ago. 3 of these scouts are now Eagle Scouts. electives, you've been able to complete Bear Beat of the Drum. Congratulations, Bear Scouts. I hope you and your family have a wonderful summer, and I hope to see you next year at Cub Scout Day Camp like Tomahawk. Just want to thank those who were in this video. I want to thank my sister for doing the camera work. I want to thank Scouts of Troop 815 for helping with the dance and the drum work. Anyway, congratulations, and keep following that trail to Eagle. And I hope to see you in the future.